Marseille, the late 80s and early 90s were a time for dreams. Bernard Tapie arrived as club president and their messiah, and transformed OM into the premier power in France. In 1989, they won the league and cup double. League champions in 1990 and 91. In 92, they won the French title again and reached the European Cup final, only to lose on penalties to Red Star Belgrade. But in 1993 came their proudest moment. At the Olympic Stadium in Munich, the heroes of Marseille took on the might of Italian giants Milan. Basile Bolli's first half header gave Marseille a lead which they refused to surrender. After 8 years of struggle, OM had become the first French side to win the European Cup. They'd arrived as a major power in world club football. Yet, just weeks after the emotional high of Munich, Marseille's holy grail would become their poison chalice. A match-fixing scandal engulfed the club, and now the Stade Velodrome is home only to broken dreams and bitter memories. Tapie has been banished from the game, and his team demoted to the French second division. The club had been consumed by the fires of their own ambition. For the people of Marseille, it's been a traumatic experience. Perhaps only in Barcelona and Naples do football clubs occupy the same position in the fabric of the city's life. For the Marseillaise, OM represented an opportunity to compete and win against the centralized power of the establishment in Paris. When OM beat PSG, it wasn't just a victory on the pitch, but a political and cultural display of regional pride. Alex Roustin is president of OM's biggest fan club.
We are victims of incompetence by the directors of French football. But we don't want to be treated like victims any longer. Last year there were a lot of problems and we were victimized. But this year is different and we have to view the season in good spirits. Last year no one talked about football. This year we will concentrate on the game, and that will be better for the Marseillaise. It will also be our best reply to the rest of French football.
For the fans, supporting OM is a vocation, but for the players it's a profession, and the best decided they didn't like the idea of second division football. Volley, Voller, Anglema, Rui Barros, Bogossian and Deschamps departed to new clubs. And with Marseille banned from spending in the transfer market, coach Marc Boré resorted to 8 free transfers, like Michel de Wolf, the Belgian international, and Irish striker Tony Cascarino, to fill the gaps.
It's a difficult situation for the club, but it's a situation that everybody at the club seems to think will only be one season, that with the players we got here, we should get promoted straight back.
OM still retain a big club structure and mentality, but with an ageing squad, they need to rebuild soon. The man overseeing the club's progress, Vice President Jean-Louis Levrault, has his own timetable for recovery.
In 5 years' time, I think OM will be back in the Premier Division in France and will be one of the best clubs in Europe, as well as one of the favourites to win the European Champions Cup.
But there remains a great deal of bitterness, especially towards the old enemy, Paris. Many of the fans still believe that there was a Parisian conspiracy to destroy the upstarts from the south, along with the political ambition of Tapie, who is still a shadowy presence at the club. Winning Division 2 would be the best response. And everyone believed their first opponents, Le Mans, more famous for their 24-hour car race than their football, would be their first victims. The Ultras, the Yankees, and the rest were getting ready for a party. But overconfidence had infected the players. Some sloppy marking, a stylish finish by Van Ketz, and after just 8 minutes, the script had been rewritten. It was becoming clear that life in the French second division wasn't going to be easy. Marseille must have felt that even the footballing gods were Parisians. First the crossbar, then a combination of keeper and post kept out headers from Cascarino. But their pressure was rewarded in the 37th minute. Some neat passing on the right, a delicate through ball, and Ferreri is brought down in the box. Cascarino takes responsibility for restoring the status quo. Suddenly it's just like old times, and 8 minutes later Durand's superb interception and teasing cross, and Cascarino's brave header set up a second for Deep. Cascarino keeps his eye on the ball, and Deeb shows good first touch and a composed finish. At half-time, a relieved Marseille go in 2-1 ahead. But 15 minutes into the second half, Deeb turns from hero to villain. It's his second bookable offence, and OM's most influential player is out of the game. Even worse, Le Mans equalise from the resulting free kick. An error by De Wolf, and Van Ketz gets his second for the visitors. Burrier can't believe it, but that was just the start of his troubles. In the final minute, as the fans begin to leave, De Wolf makes a mess of a harmless long ball. Not once, but twice. Poisson holds off the challenge of Casoni and finds Darbelet completely unmarked. (3-2) to Le Mans, and disbelief for the home fans, who somehow try to lay the blame at the door of the match officials. Things have improved with victories in their last 2 games, but for their opponents, every match against OM will be a cup final. And if Marseille can't rise to that challenge, they might find there are worse places than Division 2.
Pour